Hello out there, YouTube. This is Sweet Game Novus doing my very first Let's Play of Megaman X5. Why X5, especially since they're all over the internet, especially YouTube? Well, there's a couple different reasons for that. The main reason is because it's one of my favorite X games. Actually, it's my second favorite X game and my number 3 favorite Mega Man game of all time, behind X6, which I know I'll take flack for, I'll explain that later, and Mega Man 8. Now, wait, that's not numbers, but that's not important. Anyway, the reason why I wanted to do this as a Let's Play is because it's one of my favorite games. And if you're going to do a Let's Play, you should probably your favorite game so you can see that it's not as easy as it looks. So I'm going to do a 100% on this, and by 100% I actually mean I'm going to get all 3 endings within this playlist. I'm going to split it up by stage, mainly so it's easier to watch, but I'll get more into each individual stage as I play through the game. Anyway, I'm going to change my buttons because I'm actually using a controller, and it's a little bit easier for me to do it this way. However, the controller I use kind of sucks, well, the square button. So I am going to turn on auto charge even though it feels like it's cheating. Now, a lot of people know about the X series, and I don't know why the echo's there. I can't get rid of it, so I'm just going to ignore it. A lot of people know about the X series and how this is where the X series is supposed to end, but I actually like it this way, the fact that it kept going. Even though I kind of wish X7 never existed, but come on, at this point, who doesn't wish the X7 didn't exist? But anyway, for this particular run, X is my favorite character, so I'm going to start with him. I'm going to do an X run, a 0 run, and then a worse ending X run. With this X run, I'm going to go straight through, get all the items. And I am going to have the Enigma succeed, which means I'm going to have to do a little bit of cutting because whenever you're dealing with the Enigma, you know it's a very low chance of you succeeding unless you do something that's really specific with it. So, let's get started. Now, I know a lot of LPers like to read. I do not. Mainly because there's actually a female voice in here and I don't want to read a female voice. So I'm just going to progress slow enough so that you can actually read what's on the stage. If you can't read with the speed that I'm going, then yeah, you should probably go to someone's that's actually going to read to you. Anyway, this is a conversation between a mysterious Reploid and, well, hold on, I'll wait for it to pop up. A mysterious Reploid and a mysterious voice. Now, anyone who's played any of the X games up to this point knows that that's Sigma. So we know it's a mysterious Reploid and Sigma having a conversation. Now, I actually wonder how much damage does Sigma do on a normal basis, because what Dynamo just said was that everyone is afraid of Sigma, and no one would dare go against him. However, we only see things from X's and Zero's perspective. So, from that perspective, it's the people who constantly defeat him, and he can't really do anything about it. So, I guess the point I'm trying to get at is how bad is Sigma really? Since the same people have taken him down 4 times at this point. And at the end of this game, it'll be 6 times, even though one of them was on purpose. Alright, this is an X. This is the X portion of the playthrough. So we are going to start off with X. The reason why we're starting off with X is because number one, we get the Force armor, which is actually the only armor in this game besides the Ultimate armor that can charge weapons, special weapons. As you will see, the Falcon armor cannot, and the Gaia armor cannot even use special weapons. Now the game did add a couple of movement options. I'll go over those as they come up. Now, as usual, you can dash, you can jump. Since we're starting off in armor, we can actually aerial dash. Something new to this is the fact that we can duck, and we can fire while ducking. There's a couple different reasons for it, mainly because you need to dodge and certain things. It's not a bad improvement, but the downside to this game that was kind of unfortunate is the fact that you can no longer fire through the walls with this weapon. There is a weapon that can fire through walls later. A buster that can fire through walls, but as it stands now, the plasma shot cannot fire through walls. Now, this is the same armor that you have at the end of X4, however, it's been nerfed a little bit. For the first part, the plasma shot only makes one plasma sphere. Another issue that you'll come across is the fact that you no longer have the Giga attack that you had in X4. It's not that big of a deal, mainly because it's not infinite and it doesn't do a great amount of damage to bosses in this game, as you'll see when you start using the Ultimate armor. But it's slightly a letdown because it's a longer air dash that'll help you get across some different areas. Now the second thing they added, the second movement system is coming up in a second, is actually being able to move on these ropes. You can also dash, and you have to be careful because you have to jump, and normally these are over bottomless pits. And if you get hit, you get knocked off the rope. It's not an issue as long as you continuously hold up, but if you let go of up and you get hit, well, you can let go of up and still move. But if you get hit while on a rope and you don't press up, you will fall, and there's nothing you can do about it. The prominent stages that will come up in will most likely be the last 4 stages. Well, besides the segment area, but the last 4 boss stages, it's not that big of an issue because we'll be using the Falcon armor, which pretty much makes the rope system obsolete. Anyway, as explanations are dying down, I won't have to speak as much except for to explain specific things. Now Sigma's very easy, he only has 3 attacks. He will try to ram you, which normally comes after the little eye attack that he has, which is really serious. Just back up a little bit, he'll stop at where you land. Then he will fire a bunch of tiny little spears, which I'm going to do because it's the best opportunity to damage him. And then he'll fire a giant beam. If you want to avoid the giant beam, jump onto the wall as soon as possible. He stops doing that. He starts doing that about when his life drops down below half. It's fairly rarely seen. You can actually go this entire match without seeing it, even though you just saw me get hit. But even still, Sick is very easy to fight. Down the first stage. That's embarrassing. Ah well, since I don't need to keep all my lives, I'll go ahead and keep that around. Now I'm going to stop talking so I can concentrate on Signal. There we go. That's going to be somewhat embarrassing to upload on YouTube, but that's a non-issue. Anyway, it's revealed that this is trapped by Sigma to leak the Sigma virus all over the planet. When they get back to the base, they're actually going to figure out that this situation is a lot worse than they thought. So, what Cygnus just said was that the colony, I don't know why my brain tree's not working, but the colony is now about to crash into Earth within 16 hours. This gives the game a sort of time feeling, but it's not really that big of an issue because every stage that you enter only takes up an hour, no matter what. So you can actually leave the game on for 24 hours in one single stage, and it'll still only have taken up 1 hour. So yeah, really easy. So this is the defense of the Earth. They're actually going to fire a cannon up at the crashing space colony to destroy it. If this fails, then they're going to use this space shuttle. In order to use the cannon, they have to build up a certain number of parts, or certain parts. Even if you build up the Enigma, there's a pretty good chance you're going to fail. However, you can succeed without building up the Enigma at all. If I remember correctly, there's 1 in 16 chance that if you use the Enigma, it will work without having upgraded it. And if you haven't fully upgraded, it's going to be 25% chance. You can boost that chance by doing a certain something, which I will be showing off in this particular run. Very, very poor. You're never supposed to die at the first stage. Alright, so there are 16 hours, 4 stages that you need to fight to upgrade the Enigma. So that means by the time you fight the Enigma, you should be down to 11 hours. Why did I say 11 hours instead of 12? Well, after the second boss, after the second stage, we're going to come across a little hitch, but I'll be talking more about that later. Now, this is something that's very annoying in my opinion about X4 and X5. Introducing the Mavericks that you're going to be fighting. I just didn't really see a point in it, and it really makes it tedious. If they told you a little bit about the individual bosses' stages or the bosses themselves, that would be fine. But telling you what they have, I don't really know the difference. Why would you tell me that? Now, as for other bosses, we're going to go over there. We're going to go through those stages in this playthrough, but we'll talk more about their importance in the next playthrough, which is going to be Zero's playthrough. Main reason why is because I do not plan on launching the space shuttle this particular run. This game also introduced the Hunter rank. That's really important on this screen, mainly because when you defeat a boss and as you play through a stage, your Hunter rank may go up. If your Hunter rank goes up to a certain point, every boss that you defeat may give you an item. Those items can be equipped on you and will increase your abilities. For that reason, I will say this is probably the only thing that I will always recommend. If you are, no matter who you're doing, if you're doing X or Zero, always do Axl Rose last. Axl Rose, if you defeat him last and you get weapons and life, you will actually get Ultimate Buster, which means everything that X fires is charged, which is useful most of the time, except for when it deals with special weapons, because you're going to blow through your special weapons really quickly. It gives you Ultimate Buster if you choose Weapon and Energy. I do not remember what his Ultimate Saber does for Zero. I'll probably find out during Zero's playthrough. If you go over here, you can actually see the status of the Enigma, which there's not really a point. If you know what bosses you defeated, you know what parts you got. But it also allows you to fire an Enigma shot. Firing the Enigma can be a good / bad thing. Number one, if you happen to get the 1 in 16 chance of it actually succeeding, then you will actually be in a better position. And you can still get the good ending without having to play any stages, which I do not recommend. But if you're trying to get to the bad ending, or if you're trying to move through the game as quickly as possible, you're going to want to fire the Enigma shot. You will be firing the Enigma shot in the last final playthrough. The downside to that, well, I'll get to that when we get to that playthrough. Anyway, that's the end of the first stage. Welcome to the Mega Man X5 Let's Play.